Mic check 1 2 1 2. Well, Norwich health officials say they've actually been getting. Okay.
Live from WFSB, Connecticut's #1 local news, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 4. Right now in today's afternoon rush, President Trump tests positive for coronavirus.
He continues to be not only in good spirits, but very energetic.
The latest on his symptoms, the impact it could have on the election, and the increased risks he's facing. Plus a COVID-19 alert in Norwich.
It's getting colder, and people are going to close up their homes, shut their windows. We really need to get a handle on this.
The fight to slow the spread as cases there continue to surge. And a brand new law involving absentee ballots to make sure your vote counts. Eyewitness News at 4 starts right now.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us at 4 o'clock on this Friday afternoon. I'm Mark Zinni.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin Connolly. We have a lot of news to get to on this Friday, so let's get you caught up with our afternoon rush. New developments right now after President Trump announced that he and First Lady Melania Trump have tested positive for the coronavirus.
In fact, his tweet very early this morning has already become the most liked and retweeted presidential tweet of all time. Channel 3's Natalie Brand has more from the White House.
President Trump and the First Lady have developed minor symptoms following their positive tests for COVID-19.
We have a president that is not only on the job, will remain on the job, and I'm optimistic that he'll have a very quick and speedy recovery.
The president's announcement came after one of his closest aides, Hope Hicks, tested positive for the virus on Wednesday. She traveled with the president to Ohio and Minnesota this week. The president confirmed her positive test on Fox News last night while awaiting his own results.
I just went out for a test. They just do it. It'll come back later, I guess. And the First Lady also, because we spend a lot of time with Hope and others.
The White House Physician's Office is now conducting contact tracing, but it's still unclear how many people may have been exposed.
I fully expect that as this virus continues to go on, other people in the White House will certainly have a positive test result.
Vice President Mike Pence's office announced he tested negative for COVID-19 this morning.
The president's response to the coronavirus pandemic has been a key issue in the presidential race. His diagnosis takes him off the campaign trail for now, with just 32 days until Election Day.
Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden tweeted that his thoughts and prayers are with the president and first lady for a swift recovery.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
Biden, who shared the debate stage with the president on Tuesday, was tested for the coronavirus this morning. His campaign says it came back negative. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, Connecticut lawmakers and state officials are putting politics aside and are hoping for a quick recovery.
In fact, Senator Chris Murphy, a frequent critic of President Trump, tweeted this today, quote, "There will be a lot to say about this, but let's start here. The president and the first lady have a serious, deadly virus, and we should all hope for a full recovery." Governor Ned Lamont also talked about the diagnosis earlier today.
It just reminds you that we want to continue to err on the side of caution. And this is a tough time. You know, October, November, colleges coming back, flu season.
Well, it is time to vote now. We want to know, what impact do you think the president's COVID-19 diagnosis will have on his campaign? As you can see right there, 81% do not believe there'll be a change. Negative 17%, positive 2%. You can weigh in right now on the Channel 3 app or on our website, WFSB.com. We're going to check the latest results of our poll coming up in just a bit.
And coming up at 4:15, we're taking a closer look at the risk factors that could complicate the president's diagnosis. Don't forget, you can always find complete coverage with the latest updates around the clock on the Channel 3 app. The afternoon rush continues right now in Norwich. We are checking back today, one day after state health officials there issued a COVID-19 alert.
Now, we first brought this to you as breaking news yesterday at 4. The positivity rate in Norwich has been spiking in the last few days to nearly 5 times the state average and is now nearing 7%. Bacchus Hospital, which serves the region, is reporting its drive-through rate is nearly 10%. And now the state is asking Norwich residents to limit trips and avoid indoor gatherings with people they do not live with.
I think that's something that's kind of driven an increase within our community, is that loss of fear of the virus. The virus is still out there. We're seeing that it's starting to infect more people. At Bacchus, we are caring for more admitted patients now, today, than we did during the start of the pandemic.
That is certainly scary to hear, for sure. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Sharon Johnson is live for us in Norwich. And Sharon, do health officials know how this spike started or exactly where it's coming from?
Well, Aaron, Norwich health officials say that they've actually been getting that question a lot. Residents asking what parts of town they should avoid, what kind of businesses they should avoid. But they're telling people that this is community-wide. They actually cannot pinpoint one area, and that's why they're asking all of the residents in Norwich to remain vigilant.
Well, Sharon, a lot of people are certainly talking about this right now. What are you seeing there? How is everyone reacting?
Well, Mark, I will tell you that just in the past 24 hours, they set up 10 additional testing sites, and they're also expanding the hours for those testing sites. As far as residents go, consider this. Just today, one testing site had a 2-hour wait time.
Wow, that is really something. Sharon, thank you very much. Good to see she's masked up. Everybody's masked up right now. That's important. Turning to the weather for you on this Friday, and a live look outside from our iCam for you over Middletown. A beautiful day and a cool start to the weekend coming.
And some pretty blue skies right there. Meteorologist Mark Dixon joining us with the first check of the forecast. Hey there, Mark.
Yes, beautiful indeed to end the day. We had the clouds and the rain this morning, but you can see on early warning pinpoint Doppler the rain just recently exiting eastern Connecticut. And in the wake of that rain ending, we've seen the cloud clearing from west to east. You can see that narrow band of showers from around Boston now to just east of Providence. So that's going to continue to clear out of southeastern New England, and the clear skies that are currently ongoing. That is a trend that will continue this evening where the clouds remain. We've got temperatures today with the late day clearing popping nicely into the low and mid 60s, up to 66 at Brainerd Airport in Hartford, 65 New Haven. We've got upper 50s for highs in the Northwest Hills, 62 the high so far in Norwich. So here's a check of current temperatures on our network of neighborhood weather stations. Low 60s, 61, 62, a common figure from Winstead to West Haven, from East Hartford to Plainfield. And you can see on early warning futurecast as we head through the rest of this evening, the clouds again that are still lingering will be eroding. Clear skies on tap for our Saturday from the morning right on through the afternoon. Just a few clouds mixed and say partly sunny for a point tomorrow afternoon. So for the day ahead, specifically for our Saturday, by 7 o'clock in the morning, mid and upper 40s into the 60s by lunchtime. And notice from noon until say 5 o'clock, no big change in temperatures. Mid 60s should do it for high temperatures tomorrow, which is a few degrees below average for the first weekend of October. We'll have the latest on what to expect for Sunday and a couple of chances for rain next week ahead in the early warning 7-day forecast.
We'll see you in a bit, Mark. Thank you very much. The afternoon rush continuing right now with a quick check of the traffic. Slow going right there, that's for sure. This is I-84 at exit 62 in Manchester.
In other news right now, a bill that gives election officials more time to process absentee ballots was signed into law today by Governor Ned Lamont. City and town officials now have the option of opening the outer envelope of the absentee ballots to verify the voter signed the inner envelope. They say this process can start 4 days now before Election Day.
This bill that allows Connecticut residents to vote safely. No long curling lines like in Wisconsin or Georgia. And if you're of a certain age, probably better to use absentee ballot.
Lawmakers say this new law will help get an accurate count of absentee ballots.
And we have crews all over the state on this Friday following several big stories.
And here's a look at some of what they're working on.
I'm Mike Savino, and I'm in Ellington at the scene of a barn fire. The fire completely destroyed the barn and scared off some of the horses inside. Fortunately, none of the 39 horses were injured, and those that ran away have since been found.
I'm New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland in the Elm City, where neighbors are pushing back on a plan by the city to sell this park and turn it into apartments. The property that makes up Kensington Playground would be sold for $1 to a Boston-based builder. They, in turn, would turn this into a 15-unit apartment building with a parking lot. Now, while this neighborhood would lose this green space and the trees in a land swap, the city would turn other lots around the town into parks. Also, as part of the deal, the builder would create a new park and also renovate the nearby park at Day and Chapel Street. The city claims the park is underutilized. The project has been in the works for a couple of years, and there is a need for more affordable housing in New Haven. But those who live here say going through with this plan would really hurt the neighborhood.
I'm Roger Suzanne reporting in Wallingford, and listen, there's no need to lose your head, but this is going to be a pretty exciting time. Tonight, the Trail of Terror opens up despite all this COVID-19 craziness. Now, there are a few safety rules and regulations you need to know about. Practice safe social distancing, wear a mask, and also get ready to have a scary good time. You like that? You never listen to me.
Well, on that note, that does it for our afternoon rush, but there is definitely much more still to come.
It is a race against time as high winds in California's wine country are whipping up those already devastating wildfires.
And also Trump's age and health, putting him at a higher risk as he battles COVID-19. We're taking a closer look at what he could face on the road to recovery.
Amazon reveals the toll the pandemic has taken on its frontline employees when we come back.
Connecticut's most watched is Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Some developing news out west in Northern California's wine country. This dangerous and destructive fire has killed at least 4 people. Tens of thousands of people there have already been evacuated. Since Sunday, the glass fire has wiped out more than 600 buildings, including 220 homes and as many as a dozen wineries in this very busy area, a very busy tourist area. Firefighters are working hard right now to try and contain the flames, but are dealing with high winds and dry air.
We have some limited aircraft that we have that we're using. The problem has been the air conditions. They can't fly in the smoke conditions that we've been experiencing.
More than 2,000 firefighters are on the front lines right now, and I know some from Connecticut have been there as well, helping over the past few weeks. 3 years after Hurricanes Irma and Maria hit Puerto Rico, a new report is revealing just how long it took to get food and water supplies to the island. A U.S. government report shows that FEMA managed the distribution of goods, causing it to take more than 2 months on average for those goods to reach their final destination. The report also found 40% of the food delivered was expired and contained things like candy, cookies, and other snacks lacking any nutritional value.
Amazon says nearly 20,000 of its frontline employees have tested positive or been presumed positive for the coronavirus. Those workers include Amazon and Whole Foods employees. The e-commerce giant has more than 1.3 million employees and found it actually has a 42% lower positivity rate than the general public. Since the pandemic started, the company has faced scrutiny for how it handles safety at its warehouses. Amazon says it has taken steps to prevent the spread of the virus.
Now, Channel 3 early warning weather with meteorologist Mark Dixon.
All right, weather-wise, closing out the week across Connecticut, doing so with a brightening sky. The rain has come to an end. The clouds are clearing, and early warning pinpoint Doppler will scan clear not only this evening, but also all weekend long. Temperatures across the state right now, 60 to 65 in many communities. We've got a northwesterly breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour, nothing too terribly strong. Dew point values trending in the downward direction in the mid and upper 40s, so the air is drying out. We've got that clearing trend underway, and the stage is being set for a cooler than normal weekend temperature. So here's a look at our ICAM view from Hartford, showing the increasing sunshine, mainly a clear sky coming in from New Haven. And just within the last hour or so, the clouds really moving out of southeast Connecticut, looking live now at New London. So steadier rain has been impacting more of central and northern New England today. We had a narrow band of showers work across Connecticut. That line has actually been diminishing as it has worked to the east and to Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts. So throughout the region, we've got high pressure that's going to be building in for the weekend. So it's going to keep us high and dry and storm free through Saturday and as well for Sunday. So Futurecast looking at tomorrow's weather today, showing the mainly clear skies tonight and a good amount of sunshine tomorrow. At a point tomorrow afternoon, say partly sunny with some clouds building in, but certainly dry. Then as we head into the second half of the weekend, starting off with sunshine Sunday morning, then as we head towards, say, sunset, clouds will start to increase as we close out the weekend. So overnight tonight, low to mid 40s inland, some upper 30s coming in from the usual colder spots of northwest Connecticut, mid and upper 40s to wake up tomorrow morning to along the Connecticut shoreline. Tomorrow afternoon, rebounding into the mid 60s, a degree or two below the average high for this time of year. A little bit cooler, 60 to 62 in the Northwest Hills, 67 our forecast high for Hartford, 66 for New Haven, and 65 for New London. And the tropics, well, things have been quiet over the last, say, week or so. They're becoming a bit more active now. We've got a tropical wave to the south of Puerto Rico, but a little bit closer to home here. Heading toward the Yucatan Peninsula is our latest tropical depression, number 25. It's moving to the northwest at around 8 miles an hour, and it is forecast to become a tropical storm, and upon doing so, will take on the name Gamma as we make our way now through the Greek alphabet. This will become our 24th named storm of the season. And just to paint some comparison, the last time we went to the Greek alphabet was back in 2005. We hit the Gamma name that year on November 14th. So we are setting the stage to do so considerably earlier in time, setting a new record as that storm, again, is forecast to become our next tropical storm within, say, the next 24 hours or so. Meanwhile, back here in Connecticut, a very nice weekend, very autumnal, mid 60s for highs. Sunday morning, several degrees chillier than tomorrow morning. And then for Monday, 64, a chance for a couple showers as a coastal storm develops. Could brush southern New England with just a few showers. Tuesday's dry, upper 60s, perhaps 70 or better by Wednesday. Then a cold front arrives late in the day Wednesday, bringing a better chance for rain behind that. Windy and cooler. Low 60s for Thursday, dry for Friday of next week with a mostly sunny sky and mid 60s. For shoreline highs this weekend, mid 60s basically for both tomorrow and Sunday.
Based on the CDC's list of risk factors, President Trump is more susceptible to severe illness from coronavirus. Joining us now is Dr. David Agus, a CBS News medical contributor, to give us the medical perspective as the president fights this virus. Dr. Agus, thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us.
Oh, pleasure to be here.
So now that we've learned that President Trump has tested positive for the coronavirus, why is he considered at a higher risk?
Well, he has three real risk factors. The biggest one is that he's male. Men have a worse outcome than women with COVID-19. He's over 70 years of age, he's 74, and he is overweight. All three of them are risks for complications to COVID-19. So we're much more worried about him than the average individual who's, say, 40 years old.
You've talked about the president being 74 years old. What part does age play into his overall outcome?
You know, if you look at the curve, every year you get older, the outcome is worse with COVID-19. And we don't exactly know the biology here, but it's real. People, you know, in their 80s have a dramatically higher death rate than the 70s and higher than the 60s, et cetera. And so you couple that with obesity or being overweight, and you couple that with being male, and they add up to a significantly higher risk. And obviously that gives us all concern. Anybody now is concerned with COVID-19, even a teenager with COVID-19 who's asymptomatic may have heart and lung problems in the future from having COVID-19. So this is a dastardly virus that we have to really pay attention to, obviously.
It really is. Now, there's been a lot of discussion, Doctor, about the type of COVID test that was administered to the president. Is there one that's considered more reliable?
So certainly what we call PCR tests are the most reliable. And what that does is it amplifies the RNA of the virus and it looks for that RNA. Other tests are less reliable, like the antigen test. And so the president and the White House has been doing a form of amplification test called the Abbott test. And that test is an accurate test if used correctly, and I assume it was used correctly in the White House, and it showed that he was positive. The problem is that if you're exposed to COVID-19, it may be anywhere from 2 to 14 days till you test positive. You need enough virus in the nose or the mouth to make the test positive to say you have it. And so in that interval, there could be a period where the tests are negative even though you have the virus.
Thank you, Doctor. We appreciate it.
Pretty interesting. All right. Right now for you at 4, Saturday Night Live has its new Joe Biden, and the show's offering a sneak peek of this weekend's season 46 premiere. Take a look. Well, in the very short teaser right here, Jim Carrey appears alongside Maya Rudolph as California Senator Kamala Harris, who is, of course, Biden's running mate. The new season kicks off tomorrow night with new COVID measures in place. Audience members must take rapid tests and wear a face mask in order to be in that audience right there. Of course, for the past several months before the season ended, they were all doing it from home, which was interesting, too.
Those makeup and hair teams are just
right?
Amazingly talented.
It's impressive
wow.
what they do. Still ahead for you right here, fall in full swing all across the area. We're taking a look at some of the ways families can celebrate this season over the weekend.
And later, why the U.S. Army is now encouraging troops to sleep while on the job.
Family Friday is sponsored by Carrier Builders.
Hey everyone, here are some great things going on this first weekend of October. We've been hearing about a great corn maze in Sterling. It's at the Econ Kill Turkey Farm. Now, in addition to their miles of twists and turns in the stalks, they're also giving hay rides, and you can visit with the animals in the barnyard. The farm store is also open, so you can pick up some fresh ice cream, snacks, and sandwiches. The corn maze will be up through November 1st. And we are less than 30 days away now from Halloween, so all aboard at the Shoreline Trolley Museum for the Haunted Aisle. Ooh. This next event is not recommended, by the way, for children under the age of 10. It's rated S for spooky. You know, the kind of Halloween spook that involves actors and props springing out at you, flashing strobe lights, loud noises, fog machines, and dark places. This runs every Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 through October 30th. So head to our website for some more information on tickets. And last but not least, how about checking out the beautiful fall foliage on a rail bike? Have you heard about this? We featured this great outdoor activity, I know, on Channel 3 before. The Essex Steam Train is offering 4-mile round-trip adventures from Haddam on their rail bikes, which you ride along the Connecticut River on, right on the railroad track. There are 2-seat bikes and 4-seat bikes, and I'm told you pay for the bike rental, not per person. These bike adventures run from Thursday through Sunday up until November 1st. For some more activities and ideas that you can do with the kids, just head to our website or the Channel 3 app. That's this week's installment of Family Friday. I'm Nicole Nalepa, wishing you and your family a great weekend.
All right, a lot of fun things to do this weekend. Thanks, Nicole. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 4:30, a plan to turn a popular New Haven park into apartments is being met with some resistance. What neighbors are doing to push back there.
Also ahead for you, we're tracking the latest on President Trump's COVID diagnosis. Face the Nation's Margaret Brennan is joining us live to talk about the impact that this could actually have now on the election.
And here's a live look through our iCam over Torrington right now. Really pretty shot.
Look at all the colors.
Showing all those fall colors in bloom. You're watching Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 4. We'll be back after this.
Four, five, six. No problem.
You'll be on again tonight?
Live from WFSB, Connecticut's #1 local news, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 4:30.
We are back now at 4:30 with a look at the top 3 big stories we're following this afternoon. And first up, President Trump announcing last night he and First Lady Melania Trump have tested positive for the coronavirus.
Now, White House officials say the president has some minor symptoms right now. The president's announcement comes after one of his closest aides, Hope Hicks, tested positive for the virus Wednesday. This afternoon, former VP and Democratic candidate for President Joe Biden said he and his wife Jill have tested negative for the virus.
A citywide COVID-19 alert in Norwich, where there's a positivity rate nearly 5 times the state average. The state is asking residents to limit trips and avoid indoor gatherings with people they don't live with. The city has created 10 additional testing sites in the last day. We're told normal sites will also be expanding their hours this weekend.
In Ellington, nearly 40 horses made it out alive after a big barn fire. This is video right here from Drone 3, the flames breaking out at Hillside Stables. That's on Jobs Hill Road earlier today. 50 firefighters from 7 departments responded to the scene. Officials say several horses took off into neighboring towns, but all of them have been found. Again, the good news here, no one was hurt.
All new for you at 4:30. Neighbors are pushing back over a plan to turn a local park into apartments. New Haven wants to sell Kensington Park in order to create space for some much needed affordable housing. And the plan is one step closer to becoming a reality. Channel 3 New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland is live with the mobile newsroom in the Elm City with all the details. Matt.
Well, Aaron, this now goes to the full Board of Alders for a vote. Now, the city says they have been working on this for quite some time, a couple of years, a part of a plan to transform the Dwight neighborhood. But those who live here say it should not come at the expense of their park. Now, the Friends of Kensington Playground started a petition to save this green space right off of Chapel Street. They say the trees, the grass offer some much needed shade. A little oasis in the heart of a city, a place where families and kids can gather. Now, while the city says this park is now underutilized, neighbors say one of the reasons could be that the splash pad hasn't worked in a couple of years. Still, New Haven says the neighborhood needs affordable housing. Under the deal, the city would sell the park for $1 to a Boston-based developer. They would then build 15 apartments and a parking lot here. Now, the city would then swap other city-owned lots, turning them into new parks, with the developer also putting tens of thousands of dollars into renovating the park at Day and Chapel Street, just a block away.
You take what little happiness they have, it's gone now. You know, what little peace they have is gone. It's going to be an uphill battle, no doubt. That's for sure. We got a fight on our hands.
Now, coming up at 5:30, you'll hear from the city and why this feels this is the right move, along with more neighbors who say simply this park needs to stay. We're live with the mobile newsroom in New Haven. Matt McFarland, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
As you just saw in Matt's live shot there, the sun is out, but a jacket certainly necessary with temperatures running below average. So if your evening plans take you out and about, you'll want to have that extra layer as temperatures will be going from the 60s into the 50s. The rain has certainly come to an end, and across the state, we didn't pick up on a whole lot of rain. And with the clearing that has been underway, temperatures now popping into the low and mid 60s with that sun again coming out. So just over 1/10 of an inch of rain from Washington, around 1/10 from Woodbridge, Bristol, less than that, and in Eastern Connecticut, Plainfield, nothing at all, and current temperatures are in the lower 60s. So the temperature trend again inland right now in the lower 60s, and then eventually as we head towards 7 o'clock and thereafter dropping into the 50s, and a similar trend can be expected along the Connecticut shoreline going into the 50s as we head toward the 7 o'clock hour and points after that. So as we check out Futurecast, things are going to be mainly clear not only this evening, tonight, but also throughout the day tomorrow. So a really nice autumnal Saturday is going to be on tap for us temperature-wise by 7 o'clock in the morning, mid and upper 40s. Well into the 60s by lunchtime tomorrow, and just only topping out in the mid-60s by this time tomorrow. So a couple degrees below average for this time of year. We'll have the latest on a couple of chances for rain over the next 7 days. That's ahead in the early warning 7-day forecast.
Alrighty, Mark, thank you very much. Right now, we do want to get a check on the traffic on this Friday. So far, so good. As we take a look at the pinpoint traffic map right there, you can see a lot of green, a little build up there near Bridgeport heading into the city, but otherwise not too bad. Or perhaps folks leaving the city for the weekend, who knows. And here's a live look outside. This is 91 at exit 27 in Hartford. You can see a little bit of a slowdown there on the opposite side of the screen, but so far, so good on this Friday afternoon.
The Yukon student who avoided capture in several states for 6 days after a murder, kidnapping and home invasion spree returned to the courtroom today. Peter Manfredonia has pled not guilty in 2 killings over Memorial Day weekend.
To Talon this afternoon, where there is some much needed assistance coming to Birch Grove Primary School. The school is currently under construction because of crumbling foundation issues, but they've received a grant funding several school building projects. That includes $1.8 million to remove soil that was unsuitable for the building repairs. School officials say the project is on schedule. The school is supposed to reopen to staff and students in August of next year.
Well, if you're looking for a scary good time this weekend, the Trail of Terror in Wallingford opens tonight.
No, thank you. Do you like these things?
I love them.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, employees.
I want to go with you.
No, not a chance. Employees and volunteers admit that this was their most challenging year ever. Tropical storm Isaias damaged the famous haunt, and then they had to come to terms and come up with a safety plan because of COVID. But the supervisor there said his team rose to the challenge.
I really didn't think we were going to be able to pull it off, but core group people came through and we got it done.
First of all, I want Kyle's hairdo. I like that. That was a good
You could
look.
pull that off.
All characters and customers must wear masks and practice social distancing. There will be hand sanitizing all throughout all the attractions. And Channel 3's Roger Suzanne went there himself. I haven't seen this story, but I guarantee we don't want to miss it. That's going to be coming up tonight on the news at 5:30.
Yeah, that's going to be one to watch.
Absolutely. And speaking of fall, the pumpkin spice craze is still going strong, but how much pumpkin is too much pumpkin? We will show you the latest fall-themed food that is getting some mixed reviews.
Plus, the U.S. Army rolling out a new recommendation that's giving anyone and everyone a very good excuse to take a nap. But first, here's a look at today's local steals and deals.
Hey, Lisa Robertson here, and I have an idea that's going to give you a lot of peace of mind. It's the Birdie Personal Security Alarm. And this is something you can keep on your keychain. So it comes in 5 colors, although I know the colors aren't the point. It comes on a great little brass keychain. You put it on your keychain, you carry it with you. And now, if your daughter or your niece is going off to college, she's carrying it with her from class to class. If you like to go running, if you like to go hiking, if you're going to your car in the parking lot in the evening, you have this with you. This is a 130 decibel alarm and a flashing strobe light. Now, I'm going to pull this, and it's going to be loud, but I'm going to cover it up so it's at least bearable, because this is really, really loud, okay? It's kind of startling. All right, hold on. No one is going to miss that. This is peace of mind for you and the people that you love. This is one of those things that goes with you everywhere. You can keep one in your car, you can keep one on your keychain, but think about giving one to your mom. Think about giving one to your niece. Think about giving one to your daughter. Think about giving one to your son. He's off on a college campus. He works somewhere where he's going, back and forth a long way to the car. He likes to run. This is a personal safety alarm that everyone can use. I love that it comes in 5 colors, although again, I know that's not the point. I do love the fact that you can get it for 20% off right now on localsteals.com. It's a crazy, crazy time. We could all use a little more peace of mind, a little more feeling of safety and security.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
Welcome back, everyone. We continue to follow developing news this afternoon. A big shakeup in the race to the White House after President Trump and the First Lady revealed they have tested positive for the coronavirus.
Moderator of Face the Nation, Margaret Brennan, joining us live right now from Washington, D.C. Margaret, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Let me start. Obviously, boy, every week I feel like we say the same thing, another big week. But here we had another big week and a big day today. What's your reaction to the president's diagnosis?
Well, I think all of us are praying that the very top levels of our government remain safe and secure. It was shocking for the world to see that the most protected man in the world with access to regular daily testing, whose aides were tested before coming into contact with him, tested positive for the virus, underscoring just how vulnerable the populace is to this virus that continues to uptick, particularly in the Midwest, one of the areas that the president had been recently and personally campaigning. So this is something we will be following all the details of because they are so key just to the stability of the country and around the world to find out the specifics. We will have the latest for everyone on Face the Nation on Sunday morning.
Yeah, this, of course, emphasizes the importance of not letting our guard down, wearing masks, social distancing. But a lot of people at the same time are thinking about we are very close to Election Day and the possible implications his positive test has for this 2020 campaign. How do you see this affecting the election?
This is 32 days until Election Day. This takes the president off the physical campaign trail to the extent there has been one during this pandemic. It was President Trump who was the most visible. Remember, it was an attack line he used on Joe Biden, mocking Joe Biden for taking health restrictions. Even just this Tuesday, mocking him for wearing a mask in public. President Trump celebrates being on that campaign trail and being able to speak to voters and fundraisers as he was doing. And it may be those personal interactions that have contributed to where we are right now. In fact, the White House is trying to do contact tracing to figure out who patient zero is and who may have brought the infection into the very top levels of the U.S. government. That is something we will be watching. Vice President Pence, we know, has been saying that he may pick up some of these campaign events, but he also has to be concerned with governing the country should President Trump have his condition worsen. Right now, in print statements the White House has released from the top physician there, President Trump is only described as being fatigued, though we do know he is receiving an experimental antibody treatment. So he is symptomatic. He is sick. He is not just carrying the virus, but he's actually physically ill. And whether this progresses or whether the brakes can really be put on this virus is going to be so key.
All right, Margaret Brennan, as always, we appreciate your insight. Thank you. And you can catch Margaret on Face the Nation this Sunday on Eyewitness News at 10:30. She will have a lot to cover, that's for sure. And before that, tune in for Face the State at 8:30.
Now, Channel 3 early warning weather with meteorologist Mark Dixon.
All right, well, we are tracking what will be a very nice weekend, one featuring dry weather here in Connecticut. After about a week or so of quiet weather throughout the Atlantic Basin in the tropical realm, things are heating back up yet again. And just keep in mind that the hurricane season runs not only through the end of October, but actually through the end of November. So we've got one tropical wave south of Puerto Rico, but the one that has become recently as of 11 o'clock this morning here in the Western Caribbean heading toward the Yucatan Peninsula is Tropical Depression number 25. Sustained winds are at 35 miles an hour, moving north-northwest at 9. And it's expected to bring heavy rain to, and as well some wind to, the Yucatan Peninsula. Then eventually by the middle of next week work westward through the Gulf of Mexico. But notice within the next, say, 12 to 24 hours, it is forecast to become a tropical storm. So, of course, we've exhausted the traditional list. We've moved over to the Greek alphabet. Our next name on the list after Alpha and Beta is Gamma. So interesting to point out that with regard to Gamma, the last time and only other time we switched to the Greek alphabet was in 2005, and we didn't hit Gamma, that name, storm, until November 14th. So if this storm were to strengthen and take on the name Gamma before today is over, that is 43 days ahead of schedule and certainly set a record, or ahead of when it did in 2014, I should say. today. So there's our iCam view from Torrington. Back here in Connecticut, showing the clearing trend underway. A lot of late day sunshine breaking through, helping to boost temperatures that were just a couple of hours ago in the 50s, now in the low and mid 60s. A nice scene also coming in from stores, also from Middletown. So there you can see up to 66 now in Hartford, 65 from New Haven, even low 60s throughout western Connecticut, 58 right now in Putnam. So as the clouds continue to clear across eastern Connecticut, as that is the last part of the state to see that clearing take place, temperatures likely popping up a couple degrees before dropping as we head toward and past sunset. So winds are out of the northwest. That's going to filter drier air into the state behind this cold front that has made its way through southern New England. You can notice that narrow band of showers really shrinking as it made its way across southern New England. So behind that, high pressure builds in for the weekend. That means storm-free, dry conditions with a good amount of sunshine for both Saturday as well for Sunday. So here's Futurecast looking at tomorrow's weather today, showing the clear skies overnight as well as for tomorrow. So if you're going to be doing some leaf peeping, traveling across the region or staying here within the borders of Connecticut, looking pretty good. You get up to central northern New England through tomorrow afternoon, maybe some spotty showers, but nothing too meaningful. Then for Sunday, we're going to start off with some sunshine, and then as we head toward the later afternoon hours, clouds will start to increase. There you can see them offshore. That's all in association with a coastal storm that's going to pass out to sea by Monday of next week. So overnight tonight, 40 to 45, some upper 30s from the usual colder spots of northwest Connecticut, mid 60s for highs tomorrow. An even chillier start comes Sunday morning. Maybe a shower on Monday, very isolated in nature given that storm's going to pass offshore. Tuesday's dry, a little bit milder, 70 or better by Wednesday, with a better chance for rain late in the day with a cold front behind that, windy and cooler for Thursday. And then by Friday of next week, highs in the mid 60s.
The Bright Spot, sponsored by Connecticut Lighting Centers.
Well, certainly another busy day, another busy week, and we want to take a break from that right now and give you a look back at the best of the Bright Spot. Here's Channel 3's Nicole Nalepa.
A 10-person module of trained wildfire firefighters from our state and Massachusetts are home now after spending 3 weeks in Northern California trying to help contain one of the many massive wildfires that have been burning out of control.
We were in smoke all day, every day.
The group left back on September 4th and were stationed in the Shasta Trinity National Forest.
We ended up going to the Red Salmon Complex.
Part of their mission also included protecting members of the Hoopa Valley Reservation.
Knowing that the reservation that we were originally working for was now going to be protected by the actions that our crew was taking, burning this piece of land out was very rewarding.
Last month, we introduced you to 7.5-year-old Janaya Jarman and her 8-year-old cousin, Nyesha Bermudez.
It's kind of hard, but so a couple times we said we wanted to give up.
Well, we learned that this month, the Norwich City Council presented the girls with a proclamation for their community service efforts. Members of Rescue Temple International Outreach Ministries were out on the green between Main Street and Wethersfield Avenue, lending their helping hands to the community.
We are there normally every Sunday from 10 to 12.
And people are able to just show up and take what they need, as organizer Marva Patterson tells us.
We are giving food and water, hygiene products, and vests.
Free clothing and footwear for men, women, and children are handed out. In addition to the non-perishable food, there are hot meals served up in to-go containers.
We fed over 75 people this past Sunday.
Joel pulled over during his morning commute to capture these geese heading south. This is right by St. Mary's by the Sea in Bridgeport. Isn't it beautiful? Monty sent in this video of an all-star catcher. Apparently, this isn't his first rodeo either. And Haley in Woodstock was kind enough to share this candid moment of her son Finn enjoying the last taste of summer. Now that is very cute. With today's Bright Spot, I'm Nicole Nalepa.